Previously on Denley Digital Racing. Then another symptom, not just overheating, but now white smoke coming out the exhaust. And there's the meatball flag. So now I need to decide, do I want to rebuild the motor, replace the motor, or replace the bike?
Turn right. We saw a huge puff of smoke.
It seems unlikely I'll be racing at round 1 of CVMA next month though. I worked my ass off and made it just in time for CVMA round 1. Kind of. I decided to get a used engine off eBay. I overpaid, but it was the only one available that wasn't a scam. As I waited for it to arrive, I did as much prep work as possible. I struggled a lot dropping the old engine by myself. The new engine arrived in Las Vegas the Friday before round 1. I had the weekend to do a valve clearance adjustment, which I struggled far too much with, swap parts around with the old engine, and install the new engine. I think I found a method for getting the engine mounted by myself that worked quite well. The same approach should work with removal too. I got it all back together that weekend and dropped it off at Speed Demon in Las Vegas for dyno tuning on Monday. Luckily, they were able to accommodate my tight turnaround time. I picked it up Wednesday on my way to Chuckwalla. I made it just in time for track days on Thursday and Friday to get some practice laps in. I started slow but quickly got back up to pace I had back in March. Unfortunately, my tail camera mount failed on Thursday, so you won't be seeing that perspective again. I'll need to beef up the base around the bolt holes in my design for next round. On Friday, I set a new personal best lap time of 1 minute and 57.21 seconds. The full lap is linked in the description. When I took my bike to tech Friday evening, it sounded a bit off. It wasn't until around midnight that night when I was in bed that I realized that off sound was dangerously low oil. Concerned I may have another failing motor, I started wrenching in the middle of the night. The spark plugs were dry and the airbox wasn't soaked with oil. So in the morning I found some oil and top it off and I'm good to go. Or so I thought. On my way out to the first qualifying session Saturday morning, the clutch cable breaks. I couldn't find a spare in the paddock. I knew one came with my eBay engine, but I left it at home. So I drive all the way home, then back again, driving nearly all day Saturday. But I get the clutch cable installed that night, and now I'm good to go. I missed qualifying on Saturday, so I had to start my races on Sunday from the back of the grid. The full race videos are linked in the description. This is the amateur super sport middleweight race on Sunday. I had a decent launch, made up a lot of places, but lost my drive in turns 2 and 3 being in third gear instead of second. After a couple laps, the guy in front of me makes a pass, but I get stuck behind this green bike for far too long. Except for this guy who passes us both. That pass looked a little sketchy to me. Then finally on the last lap, I get around the green bike and I pick up the pace. I make up a lot of ground and make another pass right before the final turn. I get 9th place out of 21 riders. I checked the oil level between races and it was right where I left it. Now here is my final race, Amateur Formula Middleweight. Only 14 riders started this race and it was 102 degrees Fahrenheit air temperature. I get a decent launch, but don't gain as many positions as before. I go around the outside here because he turns in early. He goes up the inside of the green bike going into the bowl. Then I get stuck behind the green bike for far too long. I get past him on the straight after crash corner in the 4th lap. By the last lap, I've caught up to the next rider in front of me. Through these last turns, I should have gone for it, but that rider suddenly pulling off made me uneasy, unsure who was going where. I end up in 6th, which is my best result in CVMA yet. Things didn't go as planned, but I got some racing in at least. At least nothing went up in flames like this car I saw on the drive home. The full video for that car fire is also linked in the description.